Has your past drug use given you anxiety, depression, or any emotional problems? Thank you for your question, homie. Let's chat. Before I ever touched drugs, I struggled with my mental health. I had diagnosed complex post-traumatic stress disorder and a severe eating disorder, as well as undiagnosed OCD at the time. For me, drugs didn't cause those problems. However, they felt like a solution to those problems. But trying to numb the trauma with substances created even more trauma. And now, 13 years into my recovery, I still wake up screaming at night from things that happened to me in my childhood and things that happened to me in addiction. It's also important to note that when I got sober, these problems didn't just go away. In fact, when I got sober, my eating disorder came back worse than it had ever been. For perspective, I've been sober for 13 years, but I've been in recovery from my eating disorder for 6. But are there emotional issues I do experience that can be linked to my drug use? In early recovery, especially coming off meth, for a few months I struggled to feel joy. This is called anhedonia. Hope I'm pronouncing that properly. And it is a common part of meth withdrawal. At the time, I genuinely felt like I was broken forever. But that didn't last long for me, and eventually the feeling of joy did come back. I've struggled with anxiety throughout my recovery as well. But again, this was something I struggled with before picking up drugs. I was prescribed fluoxetine or Prozac in early recovery and stayed on it for years until in 2023 I thought I could take myself off it. I made that choice on my own without the help of a specialist. Don't do that. In that time, my OCD spiraled and I found myself in psychosis. I was hallucinating and paranoid while completely sober. Now, the psychosis wasn't random either. It was triggered by a corticosteroid or prednisone that I was prescribed for an infection. But my reaction to prednisone is connected to a greater history. During active addiction, I had experienced multiple psychotic episodes, and that repeated psychosis left my brain more vulnerable. And when the prednisone hit my system, it tipped me over. So when people ask if drugs gave me emotional problems in the long run, the answer is complicated. I had serious mental health issues long before I picked up substances. For me, drugs felt like a solution, but they only amplified the problem. And in the same breath, recovery didn't erase these problems, but it did give me a chance to finally face them. The takeaway? Just like addiction is progressive, so is recovery.